I'm Beth Counselman-Carpenter, Associate Professor of Social Work and DSW Program Director here at Adelphi University. My background is in development, fundraising, and event planning, and I realized I wanted to combine that with the work I had done as an undergraduate in nonprofits, and social work seemed like a natural fit. When I got into my MSW program, it was a clinical program, and I fell in love with direct clinical practice. As I worked in the field for almost 2 decades, I realized that I wanted to make a greater change than just working directly with clients, but I also wanted to help guide the next generation of social workers, which is what led into me pursuing my PhD and teaching. The School of Social Work is so excited about our DSW program. It's grounded in our Hudson Valley Poughkeepsie campus, which we have a long and rich history up there. We've had a successful MSW program there for over 20 years now. And the DSW is a rapidly growing doctorate degree in the field of social work. It was actually the original doctoral degree that we had here at Adelphi through the late 1990s and early 2000s when we converted it to the PhD. A PhD in social work is typically research-based, where a DSW is more an applied practice doctorate. And we knew our alumni in the field were looking to advance their practice and their agency leadership, and it seemed like the right time to bring the DSW back in addition to our PhD offerings. When conducting research on breast cancer and working with my research partners in the field, it came to our attention that while there's a lot of different treatment options, that psychotherapy is not something that's primarily offered in a first line of treatment. So when someone is diagnosed with breast cancer, they may be referred to, in addition to an oncologist to determine their care, other supportive options. So massage therapy, support groups, Reiki healing, physical support. But most breast cancer patients are not referred for supportive psychotherapy. So my colleagues and I in the field decided to look into what helps people thrive when they're in the most stressful of situations. And breast cancer is, a disease that impacts not only physical well-being, but emotional and social and spiritual well-being as well. So we really wanted to look at how someone can take the experience they live through and actually have positive change. Not that they would want to relive the experience, but how they've taken something so difficult and used it in a way that has enhanced their life and the lives of the people around them. When talking about trauma-informed care and post-traumatic growth, it doesn't just influence the research that I do, but it's also principles I try to bring into the classroom and something we've tried to develop really in the structure of our DSW program as well. There are 6 foundational principles to trauma-informed care, regardless of where it's implemented. So things like safety, trustworthiness and transparency, working with diverse communities. And so that's something that I try to create in my classroom in terms of like open dialogue and expectations about assignments. It's something that I try to bring into my research by working with folks who have multiple marginalized identities and partnering with those participants to know what they want to share with the research team, not just going in there with my own agenda. And with the development of the DSW program, our faculty committee felt it was really important to teach those principles and have a program that focuses on those principles for our graduates. I think one of the benefits of being in social work is it trains you to look at different gaps, like where we can do more and how we can serve more people. So the longer I've been in the classroom and the longer I've been in the field, the more gaps I've seen in some of the theories that inform how we teach and the interventions we practice. And one of the biggest gaps I noticed was in how we conceptualize human development. So as I started to look for resources that explored human development from different perspectives, more worldwide perspectives, understanding the lived experience of folks who have multiple marginalized identities, I realized that text wasn't out there. And so I was drawn to bringing in early scholars or more revolutionary scholars into how can we conceptualize how humans grow, develop, how families are built, how life is navigated, and that led to the development of this text. And it's been a really exciting experience to look at the work of scholars and some of my own research in how families are built. We typically have a standard view of families. Often it's considered the standard North American family, or the SNAF. And so the chapter that I wrote for that text instead looks at all different types of families: kinship families, adoptive families, families of choice, in addition to families of origin, or ways that we may historically think about how people grow, change, and develop. There's so many opportunities for social workers to be the agents of change that we hope they'll be. Social work is a rapidly growing field. We're anticipated to grow 13% in the next 4 years alone. And in an increasingly smaller world in which a global lens is needed, I think social workers are more relevant than ever. And I'm so proud to be a social worker because I think we have such amazing opportunities to fight for those and with those whose voices may not be as elevated. There's a lot of privilege in academia and in social work academia, and we can use that leverage to change policies, to lead with cutting-edge interventions, and to provide services in a very limited sort of resource desert of services that we're experiencing in the field. So as a social work educator, I'm really excited to work with the next generation of those doing direct practice, and encouraging them to look at different ways in which we provide services, in how we reach out and partner with clients, how we can invigorate communities to create the change that they see needed. So I think it's an exciting time and something that I'm looking forward to hopefully spending the next 30 to 40 years doing.